Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're new here. For those of you who don't know, my name is Hiba, and here on my channel I like to cover recent missing person cases. Today I want to talk about 21-year-old Rabin Subedi. Before we dive into what happened, I'd like to give you a little bit of a background about Rabin. Rabin immigrated to the US from Bhutan in 2008. He graduated from Mercyhurst Prep, a highly rated private boarding school, and then continued to study engineering at Penn State until the summer of 2019. He enjoyed playing soccer and was close to his family and friends. On the day of his disappearance, Rabin was last seen in Erie, Pennsylvania at a hair salon called Culture Cut on West 26th Street. That day, he had planned to drive to Kent, Ohio from Millcreek, Pennsylvania, where he was from, to visit his girlfriend, Jessica. At approximately 6:45 p.m., Rabin had texted Jessica to let her know that he was about to leave for Kent. This trip would have taken nearly 2 hours. When he never arrived, however, his family reported him missing the very next morning on Saturday. Authorities pinged Rabin's phone and were quickly able to locate his 2018 white Ford Mustang Convertible in Erie by the Lampe Marina parking area along the Lake Erie waterfront. And it's been reported that Rabin's car had been parked there since Friday night. Despite his vehicle being found, however, there was no sign of Rabin or his cell phone. Not only was there no sign of Rabin, but according to his family, Rabin had alerted his girlfriend that he was on his way to Kent the previous night and was actually stuck in traffic in Ashtabula County at around 8 p.m. Jessica also confirmed this and explained that the last time they spoke, he was stuck in traffic in Ashtabula. Ashtabula County is approximately an hour and 10 minutes away from Kent, which again was Rabin's final destination. This would mean that Rabin would have been halfway into his 2-hour-long trip and not sitting in a parking lot only 15 minutes away from his home. So we wonder how his car ended up back in Erie, or whether he was ever actually in Ohio. As of yet, authorities have yet to confirm whether Rabin was actually in Ashtabula, but are working on putting together a timeline of his whereabouts. From what I've gathered, they're reviewing the car's GPS system to try to help figure this out. In the meantime, though, police were able to obtain camera footage from the marina, which shows Rabin's car driving around the parking lot and eventually parking at around 10 p.m. Soon after, the footage captures someone exiting the vehicle and walking towards the water and ultimately into the water. No one is ever seen emerging from the water on camera again. Unfortunately, it was too late at this point, and the video footage obtained is not clear enough to make out whether this was actually Rabin or not. Following review of this footage, however, searches of the water began by the Erie Police, the Westlake Water Rescue, and the U.S. Coast Guard. Unfortunately, due to choppy water and bad weather conditions, the searches were quickly called off within the first few days. However, searches of the water did resume, and underwater sonar was used, but nothing was found. But it wasn't long until a shocking announcement was made on April 5th that the search for Rabin has been called off completely. According to Detective Matthew Shollenberger, a Millcreek officer working on the case, the decision to call off the search was made following an overnight search that turned out to be unsuccessful. According to the detective, investigators are focusing their efforts on piecing together Rabin's whereabouts prior to the discovery of his vehicle. A lot of people were surprised by this announcement, and rightfully so. In the camera footage, we see someone entering the water and never re-emerging. So why stop the search of the marina? It's possible that the individual re-emerged at another point where the camera wasn't able to catch him re-emerging. However, from what we do know, that person was last seen in the water, so it only makes sense to continue searching the water. Of course, it's important to figure out the whereabouts prior as well, but why not keep searching at the same time? When it comes to this case, I feel like there are two main possibilities that could explain what happened. The first is that Rabin chose to leave on his own, whether that means he chose to leave and disappear or whether he chose to hurt himself. He may have actually began driving to Ohio and then chose to turn around and come back to the marina, or maybe he never left Pennsylvania to begin with. The biggest reason I believe that Rabin may have chosen to leave is because of stress. From what I told you about Rabin earlier, it's clear that he is a hardworking, dedicated person. Coming to the United States as an immigrant is never easy, but there's an extra layer of pressure that often is forgotten about for children of immigrants. There's a lot of weight on your shoulders to make your parents and your community proud. After all, they've sacrificed so much for you to be able to have these new opportunities here in a new country. Rabin felt this pressure and didn't want to disappoint his family, which is why I think it's possible that he may not have shared that he was no longer a student at Penn State with them. Rabin's family members were under the impression that he was still a student at Penn State and that he was currently a junior. And it wasn't until later that university officials clarified that Rabin's last semester enrolled at the university was actually in summer of 2019. Rabin's 21 and would have been approaching his graduation date if he had continued his studies at Penn State. If his family was under the belief that he had been completing his degree all this time, he may have felt like it was impossible to tell them the truth, especially if he had spent his tuition money elsewhere. In this case, it's possible that he decided that it might have been better to disappear rather than be perceived as a failure and disappointment to his family. If Rabin did in fact leave because of this, it's truly heartbreaking. People make mistakes or decisions that are against their parents' wishes all the time. It's his perception of how his parents and his community would view him as a failure and not accept his decision that would have pushed him to the edge. Unfortunately, I completely understand and can relate to how he may have felt during this time as an immigrant and a child of immigrant myself. When we're in a situation, we have a hard time seeing things clearly and objectively. We often make things a bigger deal than they actually are because of how we think people will react. Rabin's father posted on Facebook, and I'll insert a snippet of the post here. But he's basically saying that he wishes he had known that Rabin was enduring any sort of difficulty so that he could have helped him, and that Rabin has not made any mistakes, and that he loves and misses him and wants him to come home. Truly, I just hope Rabin is able to see this post and that it isn't too late. The second possibility here is that someone else is involved with Rabin's disappearance, and that person is the one who parked Rabin's car in the marina lot. Video footage has yet to be released to the public, and it's said that it's too grainy and too dark to see who it truly is. Again, authorities themselves have yet to verify the person's identity. However, they do have Rabin's car, so I guess we'll have to wait to see if any evidence of another person being there turns up. If another person did park the car, however, I'm not sure why they would walk into the marina or towards the marina, and you'll have to let me know if you have any theories as to why. I can see this being staged, but again, some of the details don't work out. The reason I bring up the possibility of someone else being involved is because of the timing of Rabin's disappearance. It's confirmed that Rabin stopped in Erie for a haircut earlier that evening, and he had plans to see his girlfriend that weekend. While it's not impossible, I think it's odd that he would have chosen this day in particular to disappear after he had made these plans with his girlfriend and gotten his haircut. Unfortunately though, I do tend to lean towards the first scenario, and ultimately, like I said, I just hope that Rabin is able to hear his loved one's messages and come home soon. Rabin was last seen wearing a red t-shirt style hoodie, gray athletic pants with a stripe down the side, and white sneakers. He is 5'8" and has dark brown hair. He has brown eyes and is Nepali. If you have any information about Rabin's whereabouts, please contact the number down below. I'll also have all my sources down in the description below, as always. That's all I have for this case. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.